Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am still alive, I do still exist. I know I've been quiet, but we can thank the January and February weather for that. Plus my sleep for the last couple of weeks hasn't been great, but I'm out here today in Dartmoor at Meldon Reservoir to go for a walk and take a wild camp. Let's take a look over the edge of this dam wall. So because I'm not really that well rested and I'm not raring to go, I'm going to give myself a fairly easy walk today. It's about 5 miles going up onto Great Knee Set. That's my target for today. Not a particularly high tor, it's one I haven't been to before, but it should be a nice straightforward walk up the river, and the sun is just starting to break through now, so I'm hoping once I get the tent out I'll have some nice sunny evening views just to unwind, sit with the tent for a bit and chill out. Today has been one of those days where I've really had to motivate myself to get the bag packed, kick myself out of the house and into the car, and then drive for about an hour and a half to get down here to Dartmoor. But as ever, I'm really glad I did. Getting straight out here, getting the blood pumping a bit, peace and quiet, fresh air, and straight away I'm rewarded for that effort. It's already a bit colder than I thought it might be, and it's meant to hit 0 degrees Celsius tonight. So I've got my warmer sleeping bag, the Rabascent 900, and I've got some warm clothes as well. And I've brought the Terra Nova Southern Cross one with me again today. Because I'm quite tired, I just thought I want to give myself the lightest pack I can. So I left the Hilleberg cellar at home, and I've only got 1 litre of water with me on my back. And that means I'll need to stop by a stream a bit later on to get some water to cook with and to drink. But like I say, it's only 5 miles, it'll take me about 2 hours to get up there, and then I can just find some nice chilled out place to sit out, or maybe get the sleeping bag outside and sit in that to keep warm. I've got a couple of new bits of kit to show you on this camp. One of them is a head torch from a company called Sunblesa, who kindly sent me a head torch to try out. It's very lightweight, it's 45 grams. It's really quite compact as well, so it's half the weight of my Petzl head torch I currently use. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. This is only my first time out using it, so I don't have much else to say about it just yet, but I'll let you know how I get on with it. And the other bit of kit is called a book. Now, a book is something I haven't used for quite a long time, I've got to admit. But the last few weeks I've been reading a book called The Salt Path by Rain and Win. So I'll flash up a picture of it now. It's an award-winning book, and it's about a couple of people walking the 630-mile southwest coast path, which runs all the way from Minehead round to Poole. And I met a couple of lovely people doing that very same thing last year, called Val and Norm. Hello Val and Norm if you're watching. So the book has had me thinking about multi-day hikes, which is something I haven't done myself before. It's got me throwing some ideas around in my head and thinking about what kind of kit I would need to do that, because this pack right now is about 16.5 kilos, and that's just too heavy for multi-day stuff. So I'm thinking lightweight shelter might be in order, and also a solar charger for charging my batteries. So if any of you have used any solar charger sort of roll out wraps, you tend to get sort of 2, 3, 4 panels that roll up, and then you can hang them on your backpack. If any of you have used those, if you'd recommend any, or maybe tell me to steer clear of any, please get in the comments and let me know, because I'd love to go off other people's experience. There's I think it's a Big Blue pack and an Anchor pack, solar charger, whatever you want to call it. They look to be the best so far, but it's something nice and lightweight, and preferably waterproof, but maybe that's not the be all and end all. But yeah, let me know if you've used any and I'll take a look. I don't know if you could hear the shepherd up there screaming away. He's whistling, he's wailing, shouting all the way over to his dog, who's now about a mile up the valley. He's probably herded over 100 sheep all the way up from where I was, right the way down there, just with a few calls and shouts. They are a pretty formidable team. So we are along the West Oakmont River here now, and this is the river I'll follow all the way up the valley. And here we are at Black Tor Copse, which is a nature reserve. I just love the trees here. You're not allowed to camp here, but I know some people have. And it must be a pretty weird place with all these gnarled old branches casting all kinds of weird shapes in the night. I just love the shapes of all those old trees. I don't know how old they are, but they must have seen the comings and goings of an awful lot of people over the years. Before I forget, I will just say thank you to those of you who voted on the poll I had on YouTube. I have a little 30-second intro clip at the start of all my videos. It's always the same clip with the same bit of music, and the idea was just to sort of introduce you to the video and remind you who you were watching. But I started thinking maybe it was a bit too long, so I asked if you thought I should keep it, get rid of it altogether, or shorten it. And I think it was 85% of everyone who voted was either saying keep it or shorten it, with only 15% of you saying to delete it. So you might have noticed I've updated that a little bit. It's a little bit shorter now, so hopefully it doesn't interrupt your viewing too much. Okay, quick update on the walk. I am just at the bottom of Lints Tor here, and Great Kneeset is actually through the back. About 3.5 miles in, and I'm looking up at Lints Tor thinking, you know, that looks like quite a nice place to spend the night. Hopefully it has some good views from up there, and because that's up at the top of the hill and the water is at the bottom of the hill, I've decided just to cut back over here to the river if I can, because it's all quite boggy around here. And I'll collect some water down here before I head up the hill, because I don't really want to have to walk half a mile down the hill and half a mile back up again unnecessarily. So the riverbank is actually quite high here. It's not quite so easy to get down to the water, so I'll perhaps see if I can drop in down here and get my 2-litre water bag into the water just to get enough for my food and drink tonight. I've still got about half a litre in my water bladder in my backpack, but that's not going to be enough for what I need tonight. So that's a nice big bag of water we've got there. Also hit the jackpot. So it looks like the Dartmoor rivers have been really kind to me today. And there's a lovely fresh cold can of Brewdog IPA. So I'll filter this when I get up to the tent, and that'll be good enough to make dinner and drink from. Okay, that's the end of the walk. Look at my views from here. This is really impressive actually. I haven't been to this particular part of Dartmoor before, and I'm going to have a look at my OS maps later on my phone just to get my bearings a bit and see where I am relative to any of the other places I've been. As I spun you around there, you might have seen the Great Lints Tor itself right here. And this is the beauty of a spot I've just found. I've got this wall right here and the wind is coming at me from that direction, so as soon as you tuck in down here, the wind just disappears. It's absolutely perfect. So I've got pretty big views actually. Even though I'm not right up on the top, I'm just about 5 meters down here from the very top. But as soon as you stand up or walk up on this little wall of rock formation we have here, you've got those great big views all the way around. We have actually got a full 360-degree view from up here. So that is not bad by my reckoning. So it's just gone 5 o'clock and that sounds like the perfect time to me to get the tent pitched and maybe get my main course cooked, which is spicy sausage and pasta, I think, from Wayfarer's Meals. And I've got a sticky toffee pudding for later. And of course I've got my Brewdog beer as well. It should be another 1 hour yet until sunset, so plenty of time to unwind and just switch off. There it is, the tent is up. It's the Southern Cross one. As ever, it's pitched beautifully, and this is a really good spot. I reckon I've camped on worse campsites than this. I haven't used a campsite for a long time, but yeah, pretty happy with that. I think it might be on a bit of a slope there looking at it. Sometimes these pitches can look great when you first put the tent up, and then when you get inside and first lie down you think, that looked better when I first plonked the tent on the ground. But we shall see. That's one for the bloopers reel. I'll talk you through my setup as I take everything out of its bags. So this is my sleep mat. It's the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm. Mine is the Max Regular Wide. So the Max is the rectangular shape instead of the Mummy, because that gives you a bit more space up around the shoulders and the feet, so your shoulders don't drop off or your feet don't drop off the sides. And it's the Wide because it's a wider version, and it just gives me a bit more protection from the ground, I suppose. It's a little bit heavier than the normal size narrower mat, but I'm happy to carry a little bit more weight for a little bit more warmth and comfort. So all I do now is lay the mat out in the tent, and then I go in here for my little box of goodies, which is all of my filming gear that I keep in the little GoPro carry pouch. And inside here I've got my little Flextail Tiny Pump 2X, which I've reviewed on a couple of my recent videos, and I'll just set this up and that will pump away in the tent while I unpack everything else. And if you'd like to buy one of these, there's a link in the description that will take you to my affiliate link, and there's a 15% discount code if you want to buy one. So while the pump does the hard work, I can keep getting myself set up. Here's my sleeping bag. It's the Rabicent 900. This will keep me nice and toasty tonight. I use this bag down to, well, I've slept in temperatures below -10 in this bag, and that's without any really warm sort of down trousers or anything on as well. And I tend to sleep quite cool, so this bag has done well for me so far. As I unpack everything, so this is my tent dry bag. I like to shove it all in one dry bag. That's a bag for my poles, the bag for my sleep mat, and I just keep tucking everything away in here so everything's nice and tidy in the tent. Here's my food for the night. Spicy sausage pasta from Wayfarers, and the sticky toffee pudding, which is pretty good, and the obligatory long spoon for eating both of those without getting sauce all over my hands. And now that my pump's inflated the mat, all I do is pop the little nozzle off, and then I can fit the lantern here, little light shade attachment, and that is my hanging light for inside the tent. This is all my spare clothes. That's my bag of electricals. And here's my Flextail Zero pillow. This doesn't take long to inflate, it just, I mean, for the sake of 150 grams, I'm quite happy to bring something this size and this weight just to make my night in the tent that little bit comfier, and it actually helps me to get a better night's sleep, so why not? I'll also leave a link to this pillow in the description of the video, and you can apply that same 15% discount code if you'd like to buy one of these. And that's that. So I'll bring you over just to show you everything I've got. I like to keep all my food tucked out of the way down here, so I've got my main course and my pudding. I've got my beer, my stove, that's breakfast in the tub there. The porridge oats and cocoa pops and granola. I've got some hot chocolate powder ready to go in the flask there. Rucksack tucked out of the way. This is my setup, so sleeping bag. That's the Ascent 900. Pillow up at the top, electricals up at the head end, and then I've got some more electricals, GoPro stuff, clothes in there including my thermals and bed socks and things. That's my bag of bags, all the tent bags and everything. Little tripod there. That's my pump / lantern up at the top, and that is about everything. So what I need to do now is run some water through my Sawyer mini filter here, and I'll just run that into this drinks bottle so it's easy to work from to pour into the stove. I've just turned my little Oxford thermometer on, and it's showing 1.4 Celsius at the moment. It definitely feels quite cool. Temperature is still dropping, as you can see, and that's why I've now got my nice warm mountain equipment light line coat on top of my Rab Cirrus hoodie, and then I've got my Montane waterproof on top of that just to keep the wind out, really, because yeah, as you can see, it's 1.2 degrees now. It's dropping quite quickly, and then with that wind as well, that will be knocking the temperature down, so it feels like it's, I don't know, -1, -2, so you can very quickly start to lose body heat if you're not careful. So I just thought I'd take a short stroll over here away from my tent to enjoy some of those views down the valley. You can see my little tent tucked away in there. I can feel that breeze on my face, but the tent's not really being moved around all that much, as you can see. It's a really nice little sheltered spot this, I'm happy with that. But because it's so cold, I'm really looking forward to my food, so let's get this water filtered. Okay, that is ½ a litre now filtered, and the really cool thing about this is that because I've got those Wayfarer boil in the bag meals, this ½ a litre will cook my main course. I'll then use that same water to heat my pudding, and then I can use that same water again to pour into my flask and make my hot chocolate with, all from that one ½ litre bottle of water. And of course I've still got over a litre left in here, so that'll also make my breakfast and do for teeth cleaning and just drinking water and stuff like that. There we go, we'll leave that to warm up now. And I'm looking forward to having the warm pouch to hold as well, because that's really good for your fingers. So not only do you get to eat the food and warm yourself up because of the calories and the warmth, but you get to use the warmth coming straight off the food pouch to keep your fingers warm. You can see my breath is steamy already. Quick temperature check. Yeah, it's still 1 degree at the moment, and that's out of the wind, and it's going to get a little bit cooler tonight as well. It's probably a little bit too dark for you to be able to see me properly now, but I've got my nice hot pouch of spicy sausage pasta here, which is warming my fingers a treat. Also got my beer here, and I've got my little Sunblesa head torch, which I told you about earlier. So this is it. It's really small. I know you won't be able to see it well, but yeah, 45 grams is really light, and it's got green, brighter green, and also a red light. So I'm hoping that red light will be good for walking around at night and not really being too visible. But as well as that, it's got low, medium and high brightness on the main torch. And if you press and hold that for a couple of seconds and let go, you get a super bright, extra strong beam, which lasts for 20 or 30 seconds, I think, before it automatically turns itself down for heat regulation. Yeah, I don't need that yet. I'm just going to enjoy the last of the evening light. Hopefully won't get too much of an explosion from this beer. And I'll have some nice warm dinner with that big old view down the valley to enjoy. I've had all my food and drink now, including a nice hot flask of hot chocolate before I got into bed, just to keep me warm through the night. I have just checked the digital thermometer. It's saying it's 1.4 degrees Celsius inside the tent. It does feel quite a bit warmer inside than it does outside, so that gentle breeze is just dropping the temperature below zero, I think, with wind chill. The cloud has come in, so I don't think I'll bother setting the GoPro up for a time lapse through the night, because there won't be much to see. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. I've had my breakfast now, as you saw, and I actually fell asleep for about half an hour afterwards, just dozing away in my tent, enjoying the peace and quiet, watching the odd mission flown by a few ravens across the valley here. Don't know if I've got some rival birds on the other side, but that was interesting to watch. As you can see behind me, I have begun to pack up, but I've got the rest of my packing up to do. I can already hear the sounds of other humans now, so it must be time to make a move. It is Dartmoor, so it's a really popular walking area. There are some fairly big groups walking around, maybe 10 or 20 people in each group. Before I pack up fully, I'll just show you the little Sunblesa head torch. Like I say, I don't have much to say about this yet. I used it a bit last night. I really enjoyed the little red light you can use on it. It helps when it's dark outside and you've got your night vision, and a bright white light can really spoil your night vision, but having that red light's really useful. And it's just so small, it's really compact and light, so thank you Sunblesa for this, and I'll keep trying it out and let you all know what I think of that. I've had a look at the map, and it's only going to be about 4 miles back to the car, and I'll go via High Willhays, which is the highest point on Dartmoor, and I'll give you a view from up there. That's everything packed up now. As you can see, I've left no trace, and this is possibly the flattest pitch I'll ever find in the wild. Maybe it's so flat because so many other people have camped here in the past, who knows. Anyway, off we head to High Willhays. I'm up on High Willhays now. It's really quite cold, so I can't quite move my face properly to talk. But yeah, it's 0.2 degrees. It was between 0.8 and about 1.3 Celsius right the way through the night inside the tent. You can see the cairn just behind me here. That marks the top of High Willhays, which is the highest point on Dartmoor at 621 metres. And I just thought I'd show you the views you get from up here. It's not a particularly photogenic day. It's really quite grey everywhere. So what I'm going to do is carry on to Lints Tor, which is over here, and then descend all the way back down to the Car at Meldon Reservoir. And just over here you can see Lints Tor, and that's where I came for my last camp in Dartmoor. That was that really snowy camp. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check it out, because it was a really picturesque camp actually. One of my favourite from last year. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to support me and see what else I get up to. You can also check out my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description if you want to support me further. And I will see you on the next video.